Hey everyone! After some, waiting time, hello to everyone who is watching. Thank you very much for that. My name is Fabian. I am here at GEEKOM's booth at IFA 2024, and GEEKOM has just launched something absolutely super exciting, the world's first water-cooled mini PC. And the awesome team here at GEEKOM has invited me to come by to check it out, and I gotta say, you don't want to miss this thing out. Before we hop on all the details, let me just stress out that the MEGAMINI G1 is a fully crowdfunded initiative. It is paid by and for the gamers out there. That means you. And you will see probably this link here in the section. Please click on it, check it out on Kickstarters, and see this wonderful baby coming to life. I'm here, by the way, I have a guest with me. Here is Laurent from Laurent's Choice.
It is.
And if you have any sort of questions later on, please feel free to ask. This is exactly what we are here for, right? So, and by the way, this incredible MEGAMINI G1 you will see over here is a joint project between GEEKOM and Techno, a well-known player in the industry. It combines GEEKOM's expertise in mini PCs and Techno's extensive, experience in mobile phones. And to create, I have already said it before, the world's smallest and innovative mini gaming PC. Pretty cool, right?
It's pretty insane. And everybody has to forgive me, but I got two of those here, and I need to hold this in my hand and see it for myself. Because not only this thing is really small for what it packs, but it's kind of light. I mean, it doesn't seem like much. I mean, do you have any information regarding that?
Yeah, sure. The G1 is not only very small, and the water, you can see the water system already flowing. We will have a look later on. The size, or it's just measuring 5.74 liters. This is in comparison to a shoebox, if I would say. And it is also, you have mentioned it, extremely light. It weighs only 3.7 kilos, which is, I would say, not so far more than a regular laptop PC you get today. I know that a lot of people might say, water cooling PC? We had that before. Yes, that's true. There were, of course, traditional power PCs with dedicated graphics cards.
That is correct.
And a water cooling, but packing a GeForce RTX 4060 and a circulating liquid cooling system like that into a machine this size, I mean, below 6 liters.
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, that is truly a world first, right?
It is.
And I have to admit it, we will come to that back later. It also looks really good. It has brushed all aluminum frame, and it screams somehow futuristic design, if you would like to say so. I personally think it really somehow looks like straight out of a sci-fi movie. What do you think, Laurent?
Well, I do believe that the mineral look, it looks like it belongs into a spaceship. It's a shade, the angular design, the laser cuts, aeration holes, everything looks like it belongs out of this world. But there's something even cooler that I'm dying to know about, is that little tiny screen here, peeping a bunch of little numbers, Star Trek-y kind of numbers. Fabien, please enlighten my fire. Tell me what's happening here.
It's a very small OLED display, but it shows you all the important data, like the metrics about GPU, about CPU, about the temperature of the chassis, etc., etc., etc. And what I saw, because same thing, Laurent, when I came here and I had it in my hands, I thought, what the hell, how many hardware interfaces do we have here?
That's my domain. So, taking that little baby, we have about 15 on them. 4 in front and all the rest behind. We got our 10 gigabit type Cs, we have our 5 and 10 gigabits USB type A, and most importantly, I think, is that we have a Wi-Fi 6E adapter and its loyal Bluetooth 5.2 sidekick. But the most important here, I want to say that in the case you'd want to upgrade this computer with a different graphics card, if you want to go for 4070 or 4080, even next generation nonsense, 50, 60, whatever is coming the next years to come, well, we do have an Oculus Link right here. And that will allow you to hook into this machine Well, glad you're back. To hook into this machine an external eGPU, and that's, I think, pretty insane.
So that means the future, it's future safe, and
It is
that's pretty cool.
future-proofed.
But let's talk also a little bit about the engine of this beast.
We have 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM configured in a dual channel configuration, meaning that you can upgrade your G1 up to 64 gigabyte worth of DDR5 yumminess. It's especially important, not only for the gamers, but for productivity. I want to know that you can clock and overclock them up to 5.2 gigahertz, which is always great. Storage-wise, we're looking at, in the box, 2 terabyte of M.2 solid-state drive, configured and compatible to our brand new PCIe 4.0 standard, meaning that you can swap data up to insane, irrealizable, unbelievable 64 gigabyte per second. It's especially great, awesome, wonderful.
Awesome.
And I also want to say something else, though. You also have a second slot for your NVMe, meaning that you could also potentially upgrade the storage capability of your machine with another 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte, even 12 terabyte. I think the BIOS supports 10 terabytes and higher on NVMe's.
So Laurent, I know that a lot of gamers are watching us at the moment, and I mean, you are also a real gamer, and we were talking about that before.
I kind of like games, yeah.
And you were saying, hey, I was asking you, what do you think about the GPU?
Well, yeah, we're dealing with the GeForce RTX 4060. This is a go-to gamer graphics card that NVIDIA has been producing for the past year. And it is an important card because it really is all go-around. It has 3072 worth of CUDA cores. Those are the shaders you're going to see in your video game. 24 RT cores for some ray tracing awesomeness. 96 tensor cores for some AI-generated frames. We all know that DLSS 3.0 is kicking in, and then you gain 20-30% of frames total count, which is quite insane. And yeah, the all fed by 8 gigabyte of DDR6 RAM.
Great.
Very, very, very fast RAM. Something we've never seen again on such a small factor, and a game changer, pun intended. But obviously, it's not only for gamers. The 4060 can easily tackle any kind of productivity-centric task, whether you're going video editing, 3D rendering, what have you. This thing can do it.
You know, but we are talking about, when you're talking about 3D rendering, about video editing, about AI, about gaming,
Yeah.
this is, this is always at high performance.
Don't
and I
ask
think
me.
always you have that little thing here, that small, that light. What would have with the thermals? This is what I'm asking myself.
This is a question I was afraid you would ask me. This is the nerve of the war, the battle. The specs are hot, they're sure hot, but are they too hot? Well, that's a problem with mini PCs. If I take, I don't know, can I take that one? I decided I would. If you have a mini PC like this, they're amazing, they work great, they're gorgeous, but the components, sometimes they kind of produce a lot of heat. To protect themselves, they do something we call thermothrottling. So they reduce their performances so that they don't go too hot and destroy themselves and protect the remaining components who are orbiting them, right? And that is why what GeekOM has achieved here today is quite the game changer, because we have an all-in-one water cooling solution, which now takes care not only of the processor, but also the GPU. And as you all know as gamers, when you have an all-in-one water cooling solution, water is so much better at harvesting all that heat. And thanks to that 120 millimeter fast, powerful, yet silent fan, it can expel, it can repel all that heat out of your computer. It acts like a very, very powerful exhaust and keeps all those desktop graded components as cool as they can be, keeping them away from the ugly, destructive, thermothrottling spaghetti monster.
And you know what? And what I really think is, it's not only a performance beast. Like I said before, I think it really looks so cool and so good. I mean, it has a transparent chassis. You can see the whole inside. You have great striking RGB lighting. And this beautiful brushed aluminum body, I personally, I think it's a real eye catcher.
It is.
I don't know if I mean, probably my wife would say, listen, this is probably nothing for our living room, but for gamers who are at home and would like to have a true centerpiece in a gaming room, I think the G1 is absolutely it. And personally, I am playing also games, but not the AAA titles, but I think it enhances every gaming session with its great visual appearance. What do you think, Laurent? Because well, I already see this game always in my back, and I know that you're a gamer, and I also know
don't put
that
me in
you are
that
doing
situation.
great things.
I didn't come for this.
Oh, really?
When you brought the wife into the equation, I got scared, but now I'm even more scared.
But I think we should probably check out Black Myth Wukong.
Because you all ask.
Yeah, and let's check it out.
Bring the camera. Don't be shy. There you go. They're my babies. There you go. So we are playing the latest out of China, an amazing video game who took the whole industry by storm. Who would have known? So first thing you can tell, this is a gorgeous screen, which takes a lot of pixels, right? But look, come here. Look at the decorium. Look at that. So many shading. That's why you can see the 4060 is really delivering on its promises. All those CUDA cores working in unison in orchestra to give all that beautiful gorgeousness of a decor around our little monkey hero. Look here, I'm going. This is not violent. I'm just doing some yoga gymnastic with my wolf friend. As you can tell, I've been playing this way too long. There you go. And yeah, this thing plays and acts completely like my gaming desktop at home. Completely and absolutely.
So actually, I think it's fantastic. I would say the G1, besides the fact I'm super happy that you're here, Laurent, because I would not have been able to play this game, and I know that you're always pushing all the things to.
I have a life to waste, obviously.
But I would say the G1 would handle online games and most AAA titles with an absolute ease, right? Absolutely. And even if you're enabling ray tracing, it consistently delivers a smooth 60 frames per second on a 2.5K.
By the way, it is ray traced right
ultra
now.
wide screen, yeah, exactly. And if you would turn off ray tracing and lower the image quality just for a little bit, not too much, you'll see the frame rates soaring up to 75 frames per second. And of course, important titles we all know, like Call of Duty or GTA or Horizon 5 or Fortnite, of course, without absolutely any issues,
questions, right?
So,
well, you say all that, you say all those games. The game is fine. Game is fun. But as a slightly, and I underline the slightly chubby, a French YouTuber that I am, we all agree good looking still.
Yeah, modest.
Please, thank you. Can I use a machine to properly edit all my cheese-smelling videos and maybe even do some of my favorite 3D rendering?
So I know that you're also a video editor, but I think the G1 is absolutely for 3D artists and those who would like to do video editing. So if you're asking yourself if this computer, by the way, I want to mention it because everyone is asking nowadays, is this computer AI ready? Whatever it is, it is.
That's a question I asked to my wife. Again, she's the AI of the house.
Oh,
that's a stupid joke. I love you, honey. I didn't mean that.
So does your wife also run an RTX 4060, which can turn simple brush strokes into stunning lifelike paintings and generate images and videos from text and enhance video editing with advanced AI effects?
For today, yes. And before we go forward, maybe I should show a little bit of what we can do on video editing, since we've been talking about it. So come back, my lovelies. We're going to go on Adobe Premiere. A lot of people already know it. I put on the right hands all our performance metrics, CPU and GPU, and we're going to see what it looks like. So obviously, for the editors out there, don't laugh. You know that if I just play that gorgeous video, not much is going to happen. You can see that everything is stable, nothing is moving. Our GPU is at 63 degrees Celsius idle. Running Adobe Premiere, which is rather low even for a desktop. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to put some stress on this machine. So I'm going to up the speed of our video playing to say 500%, just to make it fun, right? And that usually is enough to get a CPU peak of some kind, and nothing is happening. Nothing, noticeable, that's for sure. And on the other hand, I'm going to go back on the minimum here. I want you to keep in mind, though, that have the game still running. So let me close it. So that will cause kind of, there you go. And you will see that the GPU now is going back to 0% of usage. It was being used by the game in the background. So if I redo this, 500%, we are 2% of usage. By the way, how impressive it is that I could do all this as the game was still running back, with all its graphics, with everything going on. It's not only the 4060, it's also how this whole machine operates together. The processor, the graphics card, the RAM, everything has been studied, everything has been put together, so there's no bottleneck. And frankly talking, it works. It works amazingly well.
So here you can see GEEKOM's and Techno's expertise running in a system. And I'm so glad, Laurent, that you were able to show a little bit how well performance would change. So before we come to the next point, probably, folks, if you are in front of your machines, I will say this 1 or 2 or 3, probably even 3 times again. This is a kick to click the link you have in the description and check out the website. That is absolutely great. I would say that fits pretty well, Laurent, because now you have the G1 in your hands, and that we would like to, well, you have seen so many things, and we are talking about Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I think it could be like a time for wrapping up a little bit the specs.
I just want to say that this is my fee for today, is this thing. I'm going home with that. A lot of worried eyes are around me right now when I said that.
I will have it.
I'll be running. I cannot run very fast, as you can tell. But yeah, so let's recap what's in there. The very first thing you want to remember, the most important thing, the innovating push here is the fact that we have a fully sized, great, desktop graded RTX 4060 in there. I cannot stress how amazing that is. You would not be here. I would not be here if it was not for that. The second thing is we have a very worthy, very powerful, mobility-centric i9-13900H, which is about the best processor running on the market still today at a very low 65-watt TDP. Again, quite impressive. We have a 32 gigabyte of fast DDR5 RAM, remember, 5,200 megahertz, and RPCIe 4.0 enabled, sorry about that, 2 terabyte of M.2 solid-state drive storage, expandable to much more thanks to its second slot. And yeah, that all those things put together make that thing a very special product that all our little friends are interested in.
Usually
when they come to the live stream.
Yes, exactly. That's live.
We cannot keep
Usually
them away.
We cut out something like that, but it's so nice. It's so nice. These are the gamers of tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure if they would have seen the whole live stream, they would have asked, Laurent, Fabien, tell me.
I'll take it back for that.
How much is the price?
I want to know that.
And so we have 2 options, to be honest. There are 2. There is one option, the option we have talked about. This is with the i9 processor, and it is at $1,799. And there is also a smaller version which runs a 17620H, which is a little smaller, slightly smaller at only $1,599. Both options, once again, ladies and gentlemen, available on Kickstarter. And please check it out now. There is this link. And before we are open up for all your questions you might have, let me add some personal words around GEEKOM products, because I'm working now for a long time with the company. I think you too. You will probably add some couple of things also. And I was always very, very impressed by GEEKOM's quality, the reliability of their products. So this is already something I can tell you here and now. Because of course we don't have any experiences with this little machine. It's so new that we cannot say, hey, everything will run smoothly. But GEEKOM has installed a professional after-sales service, which will be there for you in any case, of an emergency.
Life happens.
Exactly. Then there will be for you and will help you and provide you any help. And also you have a 3 years warranty with GEEKOM. And that should altogether should probably lead to enough security that you might say, hey, I'm so convinced by all that that I would like to check it out.
Peace of mind, just peace of mind, right? And I just want to add something. I've been, for the ones who know me, who follows me on my YouTube channel, Lawrence Choice, no publicity, no free publicity there. I will not start doing quite a bit of those products, the mini PCs and stuff like that, and the competition as well. And I'll say this. And that's my professional opinion. by far, probably the best manufacturing quality I've seen in their field. I think that a few days ago, I sat down with some of the GeekOM team and showed them why I thought so, and justify how they do the thermals on their M.2 solid state drives, adding a little copper plate there with the thermal pads, which, by the way, something it did not exist in the mini PC market just a couple of years ago. That goes to their credit. So I can at least bear witness to the manufacturing process, that if they went into the thing, they knew what they were doing. And I don't see anyone else today on the marketplace, in the industry, in their field, to be able to pull something like that. That's all I wanted to add.
Wow, I think that's pretty cool. And now, ladies, gentlemen, we would like to open up stage for Q&A, for questions, and we are happy to help. Oh,
That's for Fabien, I think. Yeah.
here we go. Oh, I think there are some. So,
All right. Oh
I
my
think
God,
you will
it's
have to take it
tiny.
over because my eyes.
All right,
are
okay,
also
so
old.
I'll go from the, so for the Chinese questions, I shall not. I'm gonna go, okay, how is the cooling system maintained? So that's a very good question. Somebody knows what he's asking. The cooling system is an all-in-one cooling system. So this is the same cooling system you will see on your processor when you buy this all-in-one packages. So you do not need any maintenance. If you buy an all-in-one system, usually it's guaranteed for 3, 4, 5 years of operation without having to drain the fluid. GeekOM went on exactly the same principle here. So if that was a question, no maintenance, plug it in. We'll talk about it in 3 to 5 years. Now, is this optimized for streaming platforms?
Well, that's. I would not say that it's optimized, but you are. It's working because how would you like to optimize? I don't know. Probably you have other technical backgrounds. For
I'll tell you this. When you look at streaming, that it is on YouTube or gaming streamers like Twitch, they all have issues, right? To make sure that you have enough FPS, you have no tearing on your screen, especially when you're streaming. We all have the problem with OBS Studio, and we know how difficult that is. So I think that person asking this question is asking if I can run this as a OBS Studio standalone. Not only you can, but because you have 20 threads of Intel processors, you have more computing power than enough to run OBS, the game. I would say I would not go to 4K, but no, who is streaming in 4K? You'd have to have like crazy bandwidth, but at least 1 to 2K, 30 FPS per second, 60 FPS on 1K without any single kind of lag or streaming issues.
So yeah.
What is the maximum resolution output? My God, who are those people?
We knew, guys. You're pushing us also to the limits. I mean, I will need some water cooling system also very soon.
Yeah, you need some. I need beer cooling system, but that's something else.
This is more or less the same.
We're in the right
thing,
place, aren't you? Discussion for later. So you have two kind of GPUs here. You have the iGPU, which comes with the Iris of Intel processor. That goes up to 8K to 8K 30 hertz or 4K 60 hertz, 60 frames per second. That's the kind of video card you will be using on your day-to-day when you're just browsing. If you use a 4060, then that's a completely different animal. You can hope to see up to 10K, 30 frames per second, 8K, 60 frames per second, etc., etc. You can go really, really high. Doesn't mean that you will find the game or you will find the software is going to be able to output that kind of frame rate, but that's what you could do potentially.
I'm super happy that I have you here. You as a hardcore gamer.
We'll keep talking about the
all the
wife.
things.
If my wife is listening, can you please
I
tell her how important I am?
Yeah, you're super important. But I understood Wi-Fi. But yeah.
Did I say Wi-Fi? Oh my, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to my Wi-Fi. Okay. Can the RGB lights pulse to music? Yes. If you have the right software, right? So I know that this is not made to that purposes, but usually RGB manufacturers all over the world now are compliant to all the bigger brands who are producing RGB controlling systems like Aura, Mystic, or what have you. So if you have one of those, you install it, you'll be able to do a bunch of different kind of RGB shenanigans, including the game pulsing, the music pulsing, or what have you.
That's super cool.
Is the mini screen customizable for apps? No, I can tell you. I'm not sure. Please, anybody wants to know better and will correct me. These kind of screens, right? This kind of OLED screen, they come with usually a little chip inside, and they're pre-configured with whatever you want to put them in there. So they get the information from the software itself, but you have a little BIOS-like chip integrated in the OLED, meaning that you cannot easily change what's on there. But, and that's a good thing. With those kind of BIOS thing, if you update the BIOS of the motherboard, it can also integrate the BIOS with this little chip. So in the future, GeekOM or Techno, whoever's taking care of the software side of things, can integrate a code for that the BIOS be updated on the screen, and you can upgrade or update any kind of graphics you want to see on there. We all know the big brands who are doing that as well, like Asus, they've all been doing that. So I don't see why not GeekOM and Techno could do that in the future.
Are you really able to read this?
I have no. I'm just making up the questions. I'm also.
I mean, it's
I'm
so
only.
small.
I cannot read anything. I'm just making up the question I know the answers to.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. I really love that. You're doing all my work. So it's
So
perfect.
what the clock speed of the CPU? I think you had that one.
Yeah, that was CPU 5.4.
Something like a 5.4 gigahertz turbo clock.
5.4.
That's answered. How often does it need mental with it? What kind of ports are available? My dear. So we have 15 of them, right? We got 4 USB 3.2 first generation for 5 gigabit. Those are the blue ones you have in there, right in front. So those are the 5 gigabit. On the other side,
With the SD card slot here.
by the way, that is great for video editing.
Absolutely.
You get it out of your camera, you put it in there, ready to be accessed. That is
There's
a great
headphone.
point.
There's also a headphone jack, by the
You
way.
got your mic headphones, right?
And here we go.
So here we have a couple of type Cs, and those ones are actually video output and 10 gigabit. You can see it by this little logo here, the display port. So that's display port type C, meaning that it's 4K by 4K 120 hertz, 120 frames per second. Another USB 3.2 first generation, 5 gigabit, a USB 2.0, 480 megabit per second max, 2 HDMI. Those, I believe, are 2.4 on the 4060. So we go to 8K 60 frame per second max. Your power, this I think would be around 120 watt normally, or maybe no, if it's a 4060, a bit more like 200 watt. And the OQ-Link here, which is graded for 63 gigabyte per second maximum. I hope I answered all of those.
Absolutely awesome.
That's a link question. How fast is the file transfer speed? Your maximum transfer speed, data swap on the thing, can be up to 64 gigabit per second because the M.2 solid-state drive is compatible to the PCIe 4.0 standard, which a processor provides. But it will be bottleneck, obviously, by the kind of USBs that we just saw. Those USBs, this one is 5 gigabit, another one is 10 gigabit, so that's going to be the maximum file transfer if you want to output it or input it. But in-house, inside the computer, you can have file transfer going all the way up to a 64 gigabit per second.
There are so many questions, guys. There are so many questions. It's awesome.
There's somebody says, very nice. I'll take that.
You take it personal? Wait.
I don't know. It could be my Wi-Fi. I don't know. Oh, wow. How does it handle extreme cold environments? So that's a big topic, right? Computers in general handle cold environment much better than hot environment. The colder you get, the better it is. All I know is that your processor, which is a weaker link in that discussion, will stop working at about minus 100 degrees Celsius. We only obtain those kind of temperature when we do LN2 cooling, azote or liquid hydrogen cooling, which we've done a few. So but you will never reach minus 100 Celsius normally, at least for you, I would hope. Does it support an external SSD? Yes. If you plug it there, so you have the SD card here,
Of course.
which can act as an external SSD. But if you want to add an external solid-state drive, you will use one of those USBs, preferably the Type C, so that you can have a higher data swap rate. What's the voltage requirement? That is a good question. I'm going to go on a whim that it's just as much as you'd get on a laptop, so probably anywhere between 5 to 6 amperes, to 110 to 40 volts, and the voltage probably around 19.
So I think we have time for another last
Three?
2 questions or 3 questions. What do you think?
Okay, let's choose them together.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there somebody asking why
There's something with AI. What is this?
how does it handle AI simulations?
simulations?
All right, so I think I know where this question is going. The guy's looking at ChatGPT, blah, 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 da, da, or just rendering. So there's two scenarios here for AI. You have the Intel nested AI, the neuro, whatever algorithm, NAG, they call it. That will work great for 3D rendering, for hard computable calculations, stuff like that, right? But where you're going to have the most AI prediction here is on the graphics card, what we call the tensor cores. On the 4060, you have 96 of them, 93 or 96. And those ones are extremely good at predicting the next frame per second that you have in your game. So if frame 1 is computed out of the GPU, frame 3 is computed out of the GPU, frame 2 is predicted by the tensor cores, which adds, well, 33% more frame rate than if you didn't have that. And I hope we answered the question. Okay, two questions. This we are. Will you update this with AMD CPUs? I'm going to make a prediction.
I'm curious.
If the Kickstarter campaign works well, if this thing sells well, there is no reason that a successful product does not go down into goes in different tangents of products. If it works well, if everybody wants it, I am sure that the good people of GeekOM and Techno will come up with an AMD variant of
We'll ask them later, I would say.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's a tough prediction. I'm pretty curious how you will handle it. But, so you have it also a little bit in your hands, ladies and gentlemen. Kickstarter link campaign. Buy it and then buy another one.
And another
with
one.
AMD.
And another one. So that question is good. I think, is that okay with you? Can it support heavy multitasking as our last question?
As I cannot read anything here, so
okay. What are you eating as breakfast to be eternally young? I can answer that question. I don't know.
Of course.
Can it support heavy multitasking? I think we've talked quite a bit on the specs during this video. This machine was made for multitasking. It breathes multitasking. If anything, this thing was designed run up so that you could do several things at the same time as you're just looking, glazing in awe on the computer task it's outputting. You have 20 threads, meaning that you have 20 dedicated CPU line, CPU fed pipeline to the processor. So there are 20 different situations where it multitasks. The GPU, when you have, 3,000 plus CUDA cores, it's also a lot of multitasking. I would not be afraid. And I think I showed it. When I did the Adobe Premiere,
of course, you did.
I had the most recent AAA game in the world running in the background because I forgot about it. There was absolutely no slowdown. There was no heat outtake. I mean, the cooling system worked absolutely gorgeously. The GPU started at 63 degrees Celsius. And
I'm your witness.
We bear witness.
Yeah.
And we had no bottleneck, which is, I think, the monument to multitasking.
So if you are, we are so sorry. I think we saw so many lines that mean so many questions. This computer is multi-threading able. We are not so good, unfortunately, and we are running out of time. I'm pretty sure that you can ask, all the people who will check out this device later on and ask questions and or send an email to GeekOM or to us or whatsoever. I would say thank you very much for watching. It was a pleasure. It was a lot of pleasure with you, Laurent. It was so much fun, to be honest. Yeah. We were so happy to be together. Exactly. Thank you so much to the folks of GeekOM having us and inviting us to have.
Thank you very much, everybody.
This wonderful product. It was a great time. I would say once again, because it's never too late for saying this. Click on the link on the Kickstarter campaign and buy it. It's worth it.
I know, I've done it.
Yeah. So thanks again for watching, guys, and have a good night. Bye-bye from IFA Berlin.
Tutski.